5-7, those are our people.
Can my folks on the phone identify themselves, please?
2112 is Sean Hawkins.
Got that, right.
Other phone?
2133 is Michelle Schaefer.
And also, you know, that city. Boosted dinner.
Brian, this will be a favor. Run over to the, or Paula if you have a number, but somebody from the travel council, what's it, the MOT, whatever they call it now, if they could please talk to the county forum. Oh, we got it for it.
I'm like, no, Barney, you want me to call them?
Yeah, Tom to come over, it'd be good to have him here. Does that make sense? Joanne. Joel.
It was like, I would.
Chris is technical status. Oh, Chris, you're for the solid waste district. You're supposed to be up here. You're appointed to forum.
Get up here, Chris.
Get up here. Remember, Evan got you guys on the list. This is good news. This is good news. That makes 7. Okay, good. Welcome. It is July 22nd. It is 3:02, and I will open this meeting, steering committee meeting, Moab Tailings Project Steering Committee. We will go around the table and introduce ourselves, and please, and we will also have the people in the audience introduce themselves. And please state who you represent, and that would be great. My name's Mary McGann, and I'm the chair of the Moab Tailings Project Steering Committee and a member of the County Commission. Jessica?
I'm Jessica Thacker, I'm your liaison.
Colin Topper, Moab City Council.
Liz Moran, DOE Environmental Manager.
Mangovich, DOE, the Federal Cleanup Director.
Kenny Schaefer, Final Status Manager of the Moab Project.
Joanne Langanese, Mayor, City of Moab, community member at large on this committee.
Ronald Dunn on behalf of Congressman Kennedy. Joel Brown on behalf of Senator Mike Lee's office.
Russ?
Russ Von Hoek, and then I'm the chair of the subcommittee of this committee for site futures planning.
Kate Finley, Grand County Emergency Manager.
Kate, this is her first meeting. She is brand new in that position. And it is also Ron's first meeting, correct? So thank you both for being here. And Chris
Scoville, District Manager at Solid Waste Special Service District 1.
I'm Barbara Michelle. I'm the Public Affairs Specialist for the project.
Michelle, would you introduce yourself?
Michelle Schaefer, I'm the Project Controls Manager for the Moab TAC.
Tony?
Hi, my name is Tony Mancuso. I'm the River Program Manager for Utah DNR.
Carla?
I'm an Administrative Support Specialist with S&K in Grand Junction.
Okay, and Sean?
I'm Sean Hawkins. I'm the Tax Support Group Manager for the project.
And Phil, are you on?
Yeah, I'm Phil Goebel. I represent the Utah Department of Environmental Quality.
And there's one person I'm having a hard time reading their names. If you haven't introduced yourself, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's Chris Polskamp. I'm the DOE Deputy Director.
Thank you. Anyone else online?
Tim Parker. I work for a company called Ursoft. We're the makers of Equus. OLM uses our database system for their environmental data, as well as Oak Ridge, Savannah River, PNNL, and a couple other EM sites.
Well, thank you. Welcome. People in the audience, we'll start with Steve and then go back.
Stephen Valls, County Finance Officer.
Ryan Martinez, County Commissioner.
Bill Winfield, County Commission.
Buddy McKinney, Assistant Road Supervisor.
Oh, Kenny, you're you're also a member of,
thought I might be in.
yeah, grab a chair, grab a chair. We need to have,
You want your chair back?
we've got plenty of people for a quorum. This is great. Oftentimes in July, that it can be a very difficult time. So thank you, everyone, for being here. And I hope it hasn't interfered with your vacation. The first call to order is we have to approve the minutes for January 28th and April 22nd. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
And who is that?
Mancuso.
Okay, Tony, made a motion. Do I have a second?
And second that, Mary.
Okay, Colin, Topper, seconds. Any discussion, any corrections, discussions?
Commissioner, can I
Yes,
just make a correction?
yes.
The past two, it had me listed as a state senator, Senate 26, District 26. I'm not a senator.
No, you are representative.
Yeah, I think
I
it
represent the US
supposed to be
Senate.
a representative.
Yeah. For Senator Mike Lee's office.
Thank you.
Just to clarification.
Oh, that's a good thing to clarify. You would hate to have that responsibility right now, wouldn't you? Any other corrections? Okay, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Citizens to be heard. Do we have any citizens to be heard online or anyone in the
I guess-
chambers?
My apologies. That would technically be me. I'm not a member of anything, just a citizen. So I
Okay. Did you,
introduced myself earlier, so my apologies.
okay. Are you here for citizens to be heard or to just listen to
Just
the
listen.
meeting?
Just
Okay,
listen.
okay. Does it look like we have any citizens to be heard? So we will move to the Moab UMTRA projects update. Matt?
All right, thanks, Mary. Appreciate it. Good to see everybody. A lot of people. I was expecting a little less in July. Good to see new faces as well, so appreciate it. We always like to provide an updates. Thank you. We're gonna focus a little bit today on the standard update, but we'll talk about the annual statement of continued compliance. So back in 2006, I believe it was, we had the conditional use permit, really conditions on operating the project, getting the mission done. I think, Joe, I think we saw your signature on there back in the day, so I've been supporting the project a long time. So we'll kind of tie in some of those elements to the use permit and the reporting period, which is, I believe, July to July. So some of the numbers you hear and things will be that year period of what the project accomplished. So, and that was submitted yesterday. So workers employed 136, that's been pretty consistent and consistent with operations, all the excavation, the disposal operations, so really no change there. Shipping summary, we had over 1 million tons of tailings shipped, 1,046,000 tons. I think it was the third year of shipping over 1 million tons. 34,000 tons of debris. So, you know, over the years, we've had an effort to get debris shipped. Debris can be a bit more challenging. So part of the project approach was to do that up front, get it done earlier and take some of the risk and the time that it would take to move that debris. So a lot of progress made there. To date, 15.8 million tons. So it's about 98.75% of the 60 million tons pile. And again, probably a good time for a reminder. You know, we always said 16 million tons is the pile. We think it's going to be very accurate or very close. But we do have some sub-pile and we do have off-pile material. So we're looking at another 1 million tons-ish. But all the things we've talked about, you know, our mid-2027 date of contaminated material removed takes into account that material. So, and again, they're just estimates, but anytime I can get an opportunity, I like to clarify that because we have talked 16 million tons for many years now. So if you remember October 14th, We had 15 million tons and we're coming up on 16 million tons, which is very exciting. And I think we're 8 trains ahead of schedule last I saw, so had a really good year. Cooperating weather equipment, just really, I have lost our connection there.
Yeah, okay.
All right, we're back.
Didn't have to go ask for the gurus.
Sure, everybody came back. Oh, Tigger's back. All right. So yeah, we're headed for, I said, about 8 trains ahead of schedule, so things have really been going well. And we're looking at sometime in October to reach that 60 million tons, possibly early in October. It's generally been later, so that reflects that progress there. So we will keep you updated, and Barbara will keep everybody informed about a celebration too. We'll obviously have a celebration with the community, and looking forward to that as well. So I'm gonna pass it around here to the DOE team, and we're just gonna update on some of the areas, and again, tie in that conditional use permit reporting that we did. So taking questions. So I'll hand it off to Chris. Chris is our project engineer and also the deputy director. Chris is joining us online today.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Just briefly I'll talk a little bit about the Crescent Junction disposal cell. We continue to move tailings and place tailings in the cell on a daily basis. We work closely with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Our guidance document for placing tailings is the Remedial Action Plan, called the RAP. And that lays out exactly how we have to place tailings, the compaction, all the different specifications. And if we have some materials, and we're starting to get materials, and as we plan for closure, we will have materials that aren't RRM. It's not the radioactive residual material that we normally would put up there. So we have to go. We go to NRC. We explain to them what material we have, why it should go into the cell, why it can meet the specifications of the RAP and all the other guidance documents. And then they will come back, they'll have a discussion, and they will either approve that variance or they can decline that variance. So our recent variance that we submitted was to place the super sacks. I think we've talked about the super sacks, what we use to dispose of asbestos contaminated material. So that variance was for the super sacks and the big shipping containers that have a specific lifespan. So when those shipping containers are at the end of their 1,000-hour lifespan, we plan to put the majority of those containers into the cell, fill them up with material, pack around them. And so that variance was approved for disposal of shipping containers and super sacks. So we have put 55 so far, 55 shipping containers into the cell. They're now buried, so you can't see them anymore, but there'll be other shipping containers in the future. Another one that we just got approved was a variance for, there's a bunch of material up there from Fernald. Fernald was another DOE facility, and we got some rail and some railroad ties and some ancillary railroad spikes and stuff. And we weren't able to use all of it, so it's been up there at CJ in an area that's a contaminated area. So we had to get a variance for that. It doesn't exactly fit into the definition of RRM, which is in the RAP. So we got a variance for that. So that was approved as well. And so we'll be starting to put that rail material from Fernald into the cell as well. So as we go along, there'll be other items, I suppose, that we didn't anticipate or that don't fit under the definition, that we'll go to NRC and get those variances as well. ET cover design still in review. We have a quarterly meeting coming up with NRC here coming up this week. And so we're trying to push that ahead and try to get that ET cover approved so we can start construction on our on the ET cover. But it's very close. I think we're just waiting on the NEPA guidance or the NEPA supplement analysis. Once that's approved, then we're very hopeful that we'll get the design, the ET cover design approved as well. So subject to your questions, that's all I have.
Questions?
I have a question, Mary. Chris, I know that we've been waiting on the NRC for a while. Is there anything we could do, county, city, to get the NRC to move a little faster for you guys?
I think they're kind of I think they may be in the same situation as a lot of federal agencies, a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of personnel shortage. So that will be a challenge. That'll be a challenge going forward to get the regulatory agencies buy in, buy off on plans and procedures. As far as, yeah, I think it'd just be continue to engage with them, continue to coordinate with them, continue to know that we're out here as a small site, and so we can, sometimes we fall on the back of the line because we're not that large. But yeah, I would appreciate anything that our stakeholders can do to help us out with the review process, because it tends to be lengthy, and we'll be engaging with NRC quite a lot for in a lot of different areas as we go forward. So.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, and good question, Joette. I think, as Chris talked, we're in frequent communication with NRC for some time. Chris is really the main point of contact from a disposal cell standpoint, a lot of reviews, a lot of discussions, and we've got a really good relationship. We have talked a little bit about coordinating some site visits. So when there's document reviews, we have site visits. That can kind of be a hands-on approach and see, especially with the GCAP. I think it's something that we're looking at this phase GCAP design, getting people out, kind of boots on the ground and seeing where we can accelerate schedules. So certainly working on it.
Well, whatever we could do to help. I mean, we met with them a couple of years ago about this, and so it's a little frustrating. Do you know if it's the same folks that are still there? So I can't remember the one guy's name that we talked.
Our point of contact, our primary point of contact hasn't changed.
Okay, good.
That's been really beneficial.
Because I have that information. Okay.
Just a note on the spring timeout, I talked to Quinn, he said he hasn't been able to figure out why it's doing that. Apparently there seems to be a bug in the system, so the spring just randomly times it and out. So just letting y'all know that it's going to be doing that periodically throughout the meeting.
Looks like we've lost the online participants, is that right?
Did we? No, they're
Oh,
still,
it's so small.
they're on the side.
Oh, okay.
They're on the side, they're
I
there.
was looking at the top.
Very good. All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate the update on disposal. So
Thank
again, that's a key area of the mission moving forward. It'll, as we wind down tailings, contaminated material, again, we're looking mid-April 2027 timeframe, then resources really shift to disposal cell operations, construction of the cover, the final cover, and disposition of equipment, materials at Moab, regrading, revegetation, those closure type activities. But you talk about specific mission work, we're really looking at it transfers to disposal cell.
I'm sure this is old information, but since my first time.
Yeah.
What is the cover going to be made of?
Yeah, well, I'll let Chris, if you don't mind, I'll let Chris answer that. He's a project engineer and is most knowledgeable about the cover.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Materials out of which the cover is made.
The disposal cell cover, just the components, kind of the layers, materials.
The components of the cell cover, I mean, it's just the cell cover, yeah, it's material that is excavated from the cell excavation. So you have interim cover. You have a layer of that, and we'll be doing some interim cover here coming up in August. Then there'll be a layer of a clay type layer, Mako shale type layer for our radon barrier. Then we'll have a layer above that, which is frost protection, which is similar to the interim cover material. And then on the top of that, we'll have a what we call an admixture, which is a 60-40 mix of rock that we're purchasing from a quarry in Utah, north of the site. We're purchasing 2-inch gravel is the D50 for our rock mixture. Then we're gonna mix that with soil. So that will be the final cover on the top, and it's been modeled and proven to prevent erosion, to prevent burrowing of wild animals, to promote growth of natural types of desert plants. And so that's kind of like the final, the cherry on the top of the ET cover. It promotes evaporation and also plant growth. So those are basically the 4 layers of kind of the cake there. Interim cover, radon protection, frost protection, and the top 60-40 mix admixture on the top. So the only thing we really have to purchase is from I forgot the name of the quarry up there. You remember, Matt? I always forget the name of the quarry, but
Fremont Junction.
yeah, about 80 miles away. So we got to purchase that, and that's the what we're doing now. We've been purchasing rock for quite some time. It's a large amount. And so we continue to stockpile that material pending approval of the actual cover. So we'll have everything in place when we finally do get that approval to actually start to build the cover. Hope that answered your question.
It did. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Yeah, so no geosynthetics. I know nothing synthetic, and basically they excavated down a minimum of 3 feet into the weathered Mako shale, and weathered Mako shale, as Chris said, there's a lot of high clay content. So talking about clay liners and landfills, it works similar. There's a low permeability, and so.
Matt, Ron, if you want, we have information on our website. I'm happy to email you some of that. Okay, yeah, because it has diagrams, so it's easier to understand when you can see the layers in that diagram. Yeah.
All right, no, thanks for the question. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
And
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Mary.
I was just gonna see if there's any further questions. People have any other questions?
All right, well, I will hand it to Liz to talk about another exciting subject for groundwater.
My favorite subject. So, since the last reporting quarter, we've extracted 4.8 million gallons of groundwater from our extraction system. And we've removed over 9,000 pounds of ammonia and over 100 pounds of uranium from the groundwater. And we have injected 2.3 million gallons of fresh water. As we all know, the river is really low this year. It was not a really great peak. So we never shut off our freshwater injection system. We left it running all spring. So, and then an update on our groundwater compliance action plan, which is required at closure. It's a report that says what our final remedy will be for the groundwater contamination. We have currently some groundwater modeling that's being conducted. It started in March. It will be completed by December, and Department of Energy will get a report on that. And then we also have some field investigations to fill in some data gaps that were identified back in 2023. And those have pretty much been completed. We had a team out last week, and then we will get all of that data incorporated into the groundwater modeling. And then we will have a 60% groundwater compliance action plan that will be submitted to DOE for review in March, and then it will go to NRC after that for review. And that is prior to the 90% that is scheduled to go out around 2027. So everything is moving along and we're on schedule. Any questions on groundwater?
Thanks. So something to note, so you talk about expediting regulatory approvals and things. I think this is a good example with what you have. We really accelerated that schedule, getting things in early. And again, when we talk about site visit, maybe early next year of NRC and review the document. You know, we'll have all our modeling, we should have all our modeling complete, the different phases. And so we call it 60%, probably closer to 80%, and we can really make some progress at that time. So things are going well.
Just to interject, just an example of how the DOE has been such a great partner with us. They are not required to do a continuing statement of compliance. As a federal agency, that is not a requirement. They could have said, no, we're not going to work with the county in that way. We're not, and they have been graciously doing it every year religiously and giving us an incredible amount of information. So thank you.
Yeah,
Right, I think it's a conditional use permit. You guys didn't have to go through the conditional use permit, but you did, and part of that permit was the annual statement of compliance. So it's been great.
Good.
Gives us a lot of good information.
Good.
Because we've had companies that have chosen not to, you know, to coordinate with us. So we really appreciate it.
It's good to hear, and that's a good exercise for us to go through what we did commit to, and thanks for a good discussion as well. So excellent. Thanks, Mary. Appreciate the feedback. All right, final status survey. We'll talk to Kenny here and get some information about really what's going to be the end game of the cleanup, verifying clean material. You know, have we done our job and we cleaned up to the standards? So talk about that.
Yep, so it's ongoing work, and as I've mentioned in the past, the site's broken up into 100 square meter grids. There's approximately 14,000 of those. So each grid will be scanned and soil sampled to see that it meets the EPA cleanup criteria. So it's quite a massive task, but it's been ongoing, and right now they are doing the remediation part of it. So as they're remediating, they scan, clean, and when they think it's good, final status crew comes in, scans, pulls soil samples. And then we had ORISE, which is the Oak Ridge Institute of Science and Education. They're out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and they're part of the DOE complex. They were out in May, and they will be doing a final independent verification where they will set up their system. They do verification units, and they will scan and pull soil samples. They also review some of the technical documents and kind of give DOE their verification on top of the contractors. So, and yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on there. So if there's any questions.
Thanks, Kenny, and that's something, again, we talk about acceleration, trying to accomplish things earlier, cost savings, and it's one of the things that the contractor has done is move the start of that final status survey early on. So instead of waiting till the site's cleaned up and starting, we started what now, over a year ago?
Yeah, they started July of 24. So just over.
So areas that were accessible, we knew didn't need remediation and further remediation. Start where you can. One, you get a good idea of how the process is working. You can fine tune your procedures and you can start in those areas. So when you get to where the pile is, start moving into verification of where the pile was. We've already got a lot accomplished. So I think, that likely saves a year or more off project timeline, just for starting early. So. Good process, and like Kenny said, we've got some oversight involved in that to make sure that when we do say it's clean, meets our criteria, so. Thanks, Kenny, appreciate it. And last, certainly not least, to Barbara to talk about public affairs and communications.
Most important part, stakeholder communications. So as most of you know, I have been working to schedule the Las Colonias tour and discussion. So that has been scheduled. Hopefully everybody received an invite for the 2nd of October, the first Thursday in October. I'm very excited about this. Weather pending. We tried it a few years ago and it was, yeah, we didn't get to actually do the walking tour of Las Colonias because it was so cold and rainy out. So hopefully the weather is really great. For those of you who don't know, Las Colonias is a park area in Grand Junction, Colorado. It's similar to the Moab site in that there used to be a uranium mill there. It was cleaned up and the city has created a beautiful park. It has a zip line that goes across the river, a small amphitheater there. So we'll be taking a walking tour of that. And then immediately after, there'll be a discussion with the City of Grand Junction Parks and Rec, as well as LM. LM does have some long-term monitoring responsibilities there because of that former uranium mill. And then also we will have some representatives from the state. What's that office?
CDPHE.
Yes.
Department of Public Health and Environment.
A couple of them will be there as well. And so it's a really amazing opportunity for all of you to ask any questions that you might have with regards to that. And then secondly, I also scheduled a tour of our Crescent Junction site. For those of you who aren't aware, that's where the disposal cell is located. So it's up the road, kind of right off of I-70. And 191 junction up there. So that's where the disposal cell is. It is very much a working facility. And so we don't typically do tours of Crescent Junction. And so I did schedule a tour for the steering committee members to come up and be able to see the disposal cell, what it looks like. I think it's really cool. And so I'm excited for all of you to, you hear this quarterly update, these numbers and hear about the disposal cell cover. And so now you're going to get to be able to see it in person. So hopefully everyone will be able to join us for that. And then lastly, we have been continuing our collaboration with the Moab Museum. Most of you probably know they have a uranium exhibit going on. They just opened their 2nd phase of that. And the Moab Festival of Science is coming up in September. So we'll be working with them to just take part as we might be able to fit in. Yes.
What were the dates on the Crescent Junction tour?
That is the 9th. So the first Thursday is the Las Colonias in Grand Junction tour, and then the next Thursday is the 9th. October. Yes, October.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm happy to, Joel, email you if need be. We need to.
I think I got the email. I just couldn't remember the day.
You all probably know I love to email you and use color coordinated text and things like that. And that's all I have, Matt.
I just got the issue.
Thank you. We've had Mick from the Moab Office of Tourism, who is also a member of our steering committee. So welcome and thank you for coming. So you've been out of town, so we don't have do we have a report from you?
Mary, can I ask a question before we move on to the DOE funding?
Funding, we want to hear about the funding.
So we did receive what was requested. I don't know the exact number with me, I can certainly get that to you.
I think I have it.
Yeah, so it's, I believe it's more.
74.
It's 74.
74.
So it's more than the request, which is great. And that opens possibility, opens the possibility, it allows us to move some of that work to the left. So we'll be using it to bring additional cover rock in, as Chris talked about. So production of the rock, transport of the rock, it's something that we can do. So once we start that construction of the ET cover, then just go right to work because there is, you know, a fair amount of time involved in producing it, transporting it. So we can use that money to get that on site, expedite that once we're here. So it's a really good opportunity for us. It allows all our other work to continue and then to be able to accelerate activities as well. So.
Yeah, I think that our congressional delegation really would like to get this project done. I think that's reflected in the funding that they provided, so that's what I'm hearing from our congressional folks. And that's like, let's get this project done, so. In, you know, the situation that we're dealing with funding at the federal level, I think it's really great that this project got funded at the level that it did.
Yeah.
Very unusual.
Yeah, it's excellent, and I think it speaks to all the stakeholders, the interest and importance of the project and the work that's been done. Been able to do it on a schedule and do it safely, so thanks for all the support from all of you.
Accelerated funding has allowed much, it's a great impact on the overall budget of the project over the years, because there was a point in time 5 years ago or so, you know, that the project was a huge, has a huge overhead amount just to keep everything working. And that was the reduction of the number of trains that could be hauled each week. Now it's cutting off years of the overall project, and as if that had not happened, increase the budget. So overall a dollar savings to the federal government ways happening.
Yeah, it was kind of perfect timing because over time, we were able to really get more efficient. That's what we were doing, learning from the people. We've had people on the project for a lot of people for over 10 years, and people learn, hey, we can do this better. And we can expand the rail bench, we can get more containers, we can find opportunities to do that, and that took funding as well. So it's really those two things working together that they did.
This has been a topic of discussion between us here locally and the DC office. And the focus has been on making sure that everyone understands that our doors are open. I'm sure it's true for the Senate offices as well. If the funding or the regulatory side of things is not happening like it's supposed to, let us know, because we can't exactly push the administration around, but we can't put our fingers on the scales sometimes.
And we appreciate it. We've had incredible support from Senator Lee, used to be Representative Curtis, and now Senator Kennedy, and it's made a huge difference. I mean, John Curtis really took this on when I approached him when he was first elected, and he kind of made it his, you know, one of his major, and then got all the other delegates from Utah to support this project. And it's interesting. We're spending more money, but it's going to end up in the long run saving taxpayers a huge amount of money because, you know, many reasons. And so we really appreciate it.
Yeah, when I was in DC the first week in June, we met with the Environmental Management Office at the DOE and met with the Chief of Staff, who's a political appointee, and she expressed how this administration really wants to get this project done and is really supportive of cleanup. So I think that that's a positive. Continue the funding and get it done when we hope that it's done in 2029. So that was good to hear.
Yes, it was really good to hear. And thank you, everyone who has worked on that. Okay, do we have anything else, Matt?
I think that's all from us. And I appreciate coming here to talk to you guys, and appreciate the questions. And for those that are newer here and haven't been on board as long, you know, please feel free to ask questions, even if it's things that are more basic to the project and how it operates. As Barbara said, we've got a great website, got a lot of good materials, and you can always request more information from Barbara, and Barbara will be happy to email you.
I will. Or talk about
But
the
yeah,
documents
it's,
and.
you know, we talk about the tours a little bit. Those are great opportunities as well to ask questions and see it. And once you get out there and see it in person, probably brings up more questions. So I think those are good opportunities as well. So thanks.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
thank you very much. And it's been exciting to see the efficiency. You know, we've had the privilege over the last 10 years, I think, 10, 11 now that I've been in part of this project that seen it, you know, just really blossom. So thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Anything else? Any questions? Okay, we are to an action item, the consideration of the approval of the annual statement of continuing compliance to approve it and send it to the Grand County Commission for final approval. Do I have a motion to approve the annual statement of continuing compliance? I have a motion? Anyone could do it that's around this table.
I move to approve the annual statement of continued compliance.
Thank you, Kate. Do I have a second? Excuse me, who was that? Tony?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Tony. We got a second. This is the opposite of my commission meeting. Before just fighting to be the first one to make a motion. Reminds me of about 3 commission groups before that was like it was. It was always this pregnant pause. I'd say, yeah, I have a motion and there'd be a pregnant pause. So
Did we get a copy of the statement of compliance?
it's on, didn't you send it to us?
I sent it to you and Jessica.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. I thought it went to the entire steering committee.
No, so it's kind of hard to approve something that we haven't seen.
My apologies, Joette.
That's okay.
Uh,
I'll put it that funny.
so do we want to postpone this till the next meeting?
Well,
And,
there was a motion and a second.
yeah, we have a
I
motion
think
and a second. I mean, let's have a discussion. I mean, we've had a really good,
If you, yeah, sorry,
go ahead.
I have it with me and if you want, I can highlight some things.
Yeah, that'd be
We could
great.
do that?
Yeah.
Sure I do, now that it's been done. Right. So I'll really go to the kind of the areas that are more that change. Here. Oh, I don't, this is the cup, I'm sorry, I misspoke. So I don't have a cup.
Could I go and ask?
Can we put it on
Yeah, I can put it up.
let's put it up. And then we
Okay,
can
yeah,
go through
great.
it. Then we can all go through it and it'd be better. Yeah, there was,
Perfect.
because it was just yesterday
Correct.
that we got it, and so this was really fast. Had 24 hours to get it on the agenda.
Oh, it's fast, and that's better than me.
Can you make it larger?
Yeah, 2020 vision. All right, great, thank you, that's perfect. So, again, we talked about July 20 to July 18th here, so reflects that year, and it's really the July to July is based on, I believe, the approval of the original permit. So project accomplishments, we've already talked about these numbers in shipping, so I won't spend any more time on that. Of course, unless there's questions, we can move down, please, to the next section. We also talked about the groundwater. So really, nothing new there that we didn't talk about. Crescent Junction, Chris talked about Crescent Junction, our disposal cell. So it was really Barbara's talking points, so very helpful.
I used the the statement, the annual statement of continued compliance to make DOE's talking points so that they kind of would flow together and that way you would get the information from the ASCC.
So there'll be a few things here that we didn't touch on quite as much, and I'll kind of focus in on those. We talked about the ET cover and the involvement with NRC, the continued coordination. We talked about staffing, and we also talked about kind of a shift in resources from excavation to the disposal cell construction. We'll move down, if you don't mind, to 12 months. We continued the 4 days per week of shipping. Talked about debris placement, continued operation of the groundwater remedial action system. So that's our injection extraction, protection of the habitat. Liz talked about field investigations, Moab wash realignment. So that is something we probably haven't talked about much, but the Moab wash and Thumbnail stream that runs through the site is something that we will be working to realign, and that allows for cleanup of all the contamination. So as part of the process, we're gonna get all the contaminated material, we need to realign the wash. We're in planning meetings now. And, those are things that will take a lot of planning. So I think we're looking at, I believe it's said in, this fall, we'll be starting a phase of the planning, and then that'll well into next year. Air monitoring. We, of course, we talked about our website. The ACER is available, our annual site environmental report. If you want a comprehensive report, it's a calendar year report that comes out on the website for environmental air monitoring, regulatory compliance. So you can go out to the website, see it there. If you have questions, you can follow up with Barbara on that, and I can get you answers. Jessica will talk to the air monitoring. Again, we have offsite and onsite environmental monitoring, which is radio particulates, gamma radiation, and then we have radon in our project boundaries. So protection of the public and the workers from radiological hazards. So we'll move into radiological monitoring. So there's some dose limits in here. From DOE's total effective dose down to a project a goal. And again, the wire principle as low as reasonably achievable. So we're always looking to minimize any type of exposure, even though, the radioactivity here at Pile is low relatively to other cleanup sites. We're certainly always trying to minimize that dose to employees. And I think here at last sentence is important. The project has adequately protected the workers from hazards by keeping the total effective dose well below the DOE administrative control level. So if you're talking about kind of the hierarchy there from what's allowable to this administrative control and setting goals to always keep it as low as possible. The project's done a good job of that, and we're also reducing the source term. So the radioactivity from the pile is reducing as it's moved to Crescent Junction. As it goes to Crescent Junction, it gets an interim cover. We talked about different layers. Interim cover is the first step, and you're covering it with a foot of clean soil. So you've got a shielding mechanism there. Water, we have, Liz really talked about that. And again, two parts. We got the active groundwater interim action system remediation, and then you've got this out here GCAP. What are we going to do? What's our final strategy? What's something that's going to be the final decision on groundwater? So let's see, next page, if there is one, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that's it. So we've covered a lot of it. Barbara did a great job of talking points. Cover that, but if there's questions, let us know. I think no surprises in it. There's nothing that stands out as a concern to me. So
when you talk about realigning the wash, so is it like back to its original? Did the pile actually make it that it removed the wash, or is now the wash? I mean, what does that mean?
yeah, good question. So was it
The middle portion was realigned.
Okay, the middle portion was realigned, I believe, by the mill, correct?
Yes,
The mill
correct.
process. So we would realign it to be able to clean up contaminated material adjacent to the wash.
I see.
And still in planning, so there'll be regulatory discussions on that. That is an ephemeral stream, but there'll be regulatory discussions and just a lot of planning and decision making on what exactly that means. So it is in early stages of planning. But there will be some sort of realignment.
Do you think that would change with like a flash flood? I mean, because the flash flood kind of goes where it goes, would it?
Yeah, those are all things to consider, when we're looking at the realignment, storm events. We've seen, we've seen what it never, we've probably seen what it can do here. It kind of does its own thing. So those are all the things we're taking into consideration. We've got engineers working on the planning, and then again, we'll tie in that regulatory component as well. So we could certainly keep you updated. Again, it's early, but we want to start early because it's definitely something we want to get right, and but it's critical. So we need to do it to get to the zero. So it's
Right, I guess, I'm thinking of the future of the site, now that we have the floodplain, but just something for us to think about, however you realign it.
yeah.
It could impact where and what we put on that site in the future.
Yeah,
That's a
again,
huge
there's,
wash.
right, and there's we have 3 sections of the wash. So there's a lot of factors to consider. We'll certainly keep you in the loop as we progress. But
Then I would assume the rest of the site's gonna have some sort of erosion control structures. At least until vegetation.
so, right, yeah, there will be, to comply with fugitive dust. Just stormwater controls, but it'll be put in some state where, like you said, yeah, we get vegetation established, where we'll get material washed into waterways. We're minimizing any fugitive dust from the site, so those things will all tie into the realignment and that final grading plan, what it looks like. Yeah, so we're thinking about it early, because the things we do now can impact, how that goes in the future. So, yeah, we'll be starting this fall with kind of initial phase, and again, I think by the next time we have this meeting, we'll probably have some more information to provide to, so make sure we provide an update on that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah, and that was I think section 17C, which talks about work in the coming 12 months. And so that's why that info was in that section. And then we'll meet in October again. So I'm sure we'll have an update about where things stand.
Good, and we probably will have some rain, hopefully.
It seems very dry out there right now.
It's incredibly dry.
So that's kind of a high level review of it. If you guys review it and have more questions, and certainly, field those.
Oh, that's great, thanks.
So,
Does anyone have any questions? Are we comfortable on voting to send this to the commission?
yes.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, passes. We are to the air monitoring and liaison activity status update.
I'll be pretty brief on this. It's usually the same things over and over, but for our newest members, the air monitoring and liaison activities is basically a visual representation of the technical information that the DOE staff and TAP and RAC staff are providing to you. So basically, you'll be able to see a visual representation of the pile cleanup over each quarter. So just a quick update. Along with being the UMTRA liaison, I'm also the technical inspector for the county. We did recently remove another facility as the company is defunct and no longer operates under the conditional use permit that they did hold. The only one I have right now is the ACAX helium processing plant at Harley Dillon. So what I do is on a weekly basis, I go to pre-set out locations on the perimeter of the site, and I take images that kind of provide a clear picture of how changes take our physical changes over a quarter period. Just as a quick note, this observation point 3 right here, which is looks out towards the well field, I typically don't take any pictures because it's just a bunch of vegetation and you're really not going to see too much change physically. And this is observation point number 1. This is looking straight out towards the middle. You're going to see where they set out the pile, or what is the technical term, settling?
Drying beds.
Drying beds, okay. And you can see after, because I typically start at the beginning of the quarter and then got change at the end of the quarter, so April through June, you can see that these drying beds are no longer there, so they've already been shipped out to Crescent Junction. Observation point is looking out towards Arches. We've got the river entryway right here. Again, changes in the drying beds. And I try and get a wide variety of angles so you get that full picture. Observation point number 4 is where the historical mill used to be located. This is a newer observation point that I added. Again, you can see the changes, but I went in a little bit closer right here. So this is the same image right here. It's very much lighter at this particular slope.
Yeah, and just if I could just interrupt.
Yeah.
So those 2 photos are a pretty good example of what's left of the pile. For the most part, we're talking about surface pile versus sub pile and off pile. You can see that sliver, that, that wedge there, kind of on the riverside, and that's for the most part what remains the pile. So not a lot of pile left, but when you go out there and these were in May or April, June, and then it looks even less now. So it's moving pretty quick.
Yeah, you can tell that this little hump right here is no longer there. It's kind of straightened out. This is again looking out towards Arches on observation point number 5, and then observation point number 6 is the capping station for pile that is hauled out to be put on the rail cars up on the bench. And then this is just an overall summary of tailings from the very beginning, so this February 2010. So at the end of June 2025, approximately 15.7 million tons of tailing and mill debris have been shipped to the Crescent Junction site for disposal. Approximately 89,099 tons of tailings and mill debris were moved in June 2025, which is the end of the second quarter for 2025, which indicates that 98.4% of the estimated 16 million tons has been removed since the beginning of the project. And as I said, running on a regular schedule of 4 trains per week. And I'm not even going to get into try and describe the water remediation system because that's Liz's area of expertise. So I'll kind of do a little cheat here. So when Barbara sends me out the status reports and the environmental monitoring reports, I just copy and paste that imagery, just to make sure I don't do any oopses when it comes to the transcribing. But over the life of the project, extraction has removed almost 1 million pounds of ammonia and 5,796 pounds of uranium.
I think we actually hit 1 million today.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes.
And so far in 2025, more than 4 million gallons of water has been injected. I did change for the older steering committee members, I did change the way I presented the data for air monitoring. I updated my maps for the Moab site and the Crescent Junction site because I do know that at least one station has been eliminated from the Crescent Junction site. And rather than confusing y'all with my chart that I previously had that was color coded, I just did a snapshot. So instead of seeing the difference between the 3rd and 4th quarter or the 4th and 1st quarter, I actually got both the 4th quarter and the 1st quarter. So rather than trying to throw a lot of information at you, I figured I'd just let you see the 2nd through 2nd quarter 2024 to 1st quarter 2025 with an average of those past 4 quarters. So that way you have all of your information right there at your fingertips. And this is all on the Moab website or the page on the Grant County website. And I will get the email addresses for some of our newer members, so you can actually get the board packet. There's that. So I only report on two. When you look at the reports, you're gonna notice that they report on radon, radio particulates, and direct gamma. I do not report on direct gamma. And this is the Crescent Junction site, right here. So like I said, 0314, that monitoring station has been eliminated. But it is still contained here on the data summary for 2Q24 or 1Q25.
And so why was that eliminated?
So I believe that was, correct me, or Penny, I believe that was a MEI. So there was a new MEI, maximally exposed individual. So we use MEI as a key indicator for exposure. So we rolled MEI, there's a new location out there that's representative of the MEI. So it's removing one, but it's being more conservative to have it
Closer
to.
Yeah.
Again, that's just that information for you. And then here's all of our resources. I've included the websites that Barbara monitors and occasionally updates for the information. There's also the 5-year plan, groundwater project documents. We just had, well, I say just had, it was 2023, site futures committee, and that's Russ's purview. And there's also a room at Grand County Library that contains all of this information.
Questions?
Projects information since it started.
Excuse me, Russ,
Pardon?
I didn't hear you.
The library has all of the project's information since the project started.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Do any stakeholders have anything they would like to report?
Hey, everybody, while I've got you here, I wanted to introduce, this is Joey Thomason behind me. A couple folks, the DOE were working previously with Jordan Van Sickle, who was our habitat restoration coordinator. Jordan moved away to Washington with his family, and so Joey is going to be our new restoration coordinator. You can anticipate hearing from him later on. Just wanted you to say hi. So yeah, we'll be in touch as we all get settled in. It's Joey's second week. So yeah, there's that.
Welcome.
I just sprung that on you.
Nice to meet you.
Yep.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. And like I said, Kate's our new emergency manager. And Chris is the head of solid waste, and I think the last person that attended the meeting was Evan. So thank you for attending.
Yeah, and thanks for all the collaboration. Tony was a good, one good reminder of working together, and Tony's been fantastic to work with. We appreciated it. Kate, you may have already, if not, you'll probably get introduced to some of our emergency management team, safety team on the project. And we do exercises once a year and try and coordinate with the community and the different organizations for responses. And that's always been a good thing to do. So if you need any contacts, you want to chat out to anybody, we'd be happy to talk about that, kind of what we've done in years past and where we are now.
Anyone else? For being worried that we weren't gonna have a quorum, we've had a great quorum, so I really appreciate it. Our next meeting is on October 28th. Mark it, but make sure you have it on your calendars. And with that, I will, yes, Russ?
Under the topic of future considerations.
Yes.
So, there's the invitation to go to Grand Junction, see what Grand Junction City did with its former mill site project. And interesting to see their facility and how it had a lot of information interaction with Grand Junction City staff on how they went through the process of getting to where they are now for their beautiful Las Colinas Park. And that leads me to perhaps would be appropriate at the October meeting, since we have so many new people, to go over a review of our site futures proposals that we have. Great.
I think that-
Vision.
Excellent. Got that. Okay, we will get that on the. And you have this, the information, because Russ need to send you anything.
No, I still got the original one.
Okay, there's not all of that. And, as we said, I think if you're not sure if we have your email, or do you know specifically whose email you need?
I have yours, I've got yours. I don't have.
I'll get you.
You, and don't have.
If. Yeah.
I need to get those two.
Okay,
Add it to my list, so that way I can also.
and
send it.
Cody, so you're gonna be coming instead of Bill? Okay, so can Cody make sure you send it to Jessica, it's J Thacker at Grand County, Utah yeah. I am so used to saying that, I have to stop for a minute. So, any other things? Thank you, Russ, that's a great idea. Any other